40 years ago. I was doing it. 45 years ago. 10 that's his business.
Okay.
I started when I was 16. Yeah. He got a job as at a company in Winnipeg. Yeah.
The power of a group that gathers together to do goodness and kindness, to do a mitzvah is extremely powerful.
Good all the time.
Is extremely powerful. There's something unusual of the power of a collective whole as opposed to merely individuals, or evil individuals are not just merely a sum total of the collective whole, and they are much more profound and powerful than that. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zich and Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We are in the 23rd letter, and the Alter Rebbe expressed the great spiritual reward that an individual gets when they study Torah, like what we're doing now, or when we do it alone. There's a divine connection that's made. However, that divine connection is limited light of God, and therefore that limited light of God can be somewhat appreciated with our intelligence, being that it's limited. But there's something unique when Torah study, or for that matter, the performance of a mitzvah, is done in the public sphere, is done together with a group of 10 plus, that it takes on a new dimension. As we learn from the Torah, that a quorum, or what is constituting a minyan, which is really an idea of a collective whole that's a reflection of the entirety of the Jewish people. So one individual of the Jewish people is one individual that is part of a greater whole, but a minyan becomes a new entity, that it becomes this entity that is really a reflection of the entire whole of the Jewish people. And therefore, certain things can only be done with a minyan, like saying Kaddish for a dearly departed, to take out a Torah scroll and to read from it, to say Kedusha, and many other things. That are of a holy stature, that only this lofty level of this group, that's more than the sum total of its parts, as we said, is a reflection of the entire Jewish people. And in that light, there's the indwelling of the Shekhinah, the divine presence of God. It's an intense radiation of a light of God that's without limit or end. And therefore, it's not something that is integrated within our minds that we can appreciate, or within our soul that we can really, truly experience. However, it does encompass us head to foot, that light of God. So when we're in synagogue, or wherever it might be, and there's a group of 10, a minyan, for prayers. Or here specifically, we're talking about Torah learning that are in the same room, which kind of excludes us because we're all over the world. We're on the same room in the, whether it's the YouTube station, the Facebook station, right? We're somewhat in the same, but not really. Not the same thing. The Shekhinah resides when in the same room you have the 10 or more. That gives the capacity now that the encompassing light of God that's very intense hovers over that the individuals and the collective whole. And this is what King David writes in Tehillim, that may the pleasantness of God, of the Lord our God, be upon us, establish us with the work of our hands. In other words, the works of our hands, meaning the mitzvahs that we do and the Torah that we study, creates God's pleasantness, not my pleasantness, which is limited. God's pleasantness that we create, that we elicit because of our Torah study, because of our mitzvahs that we do in the public sphere, meaning with a group effort, that we elicit that. And of course, because the Torah and God are one, so what happens is that this is now resting upon us, which means encompassing us from above. Why is it encompassing us? Because it's not something that we can entertain in our soul, integrate into our soul, experience in our soul. It's so powerful. But it is encompassing our soul. Right? And that's why it is the sweetness and the pleasantness of God, meaning it's infinite in its nature, which is powerful. With that, we can understand, as our sages say, that there is no reward. There is no reward for mitzvahs in this world, meaning in this world now as we know it. Why? Because this world is limited. And the reward here doesn't mean, well, most people think of a reward like, you tell your 7-year-old child to clean up their room and you'll get ice cream after dinner. That's a reward. You tell your, 17-year-old child that, you do well in school, you get, I'll buy you a used car or something. Today, maybe that won't fly anymore. I don't know, whatever. In other words, that's what we consider a reward. This is not that kind of reward. The reward meaning that we experience that which we're engaged in, that connection with God, that infinite light of God. Well, we're not going to. Not now. Not now. Only the very righteous will, and all of us will in the times to come, in times of Mashiach. Now, Alter Rebbe concludes in today's class, interesting. They said he heard from his masters, from the Baal Shem Tov and the Mizitcher Maggid, his teacher, the Mizitcher Maggid, that if one angel were to stand in the presence of a gathering of 10 Jews, even if there were no words of Torah between them, yet since the Shekhinah rests upon this gathering of 10, the angels are completely nullified. So, she's so counterintuitive. We think angels, they're the source of our blessings. God has angels. They're his divine messengers, if you will, there's a truth to that. Absolutely. And they're the ones, I had my lucky angel with me today. No. The power we have is much greater than an angel. A group of 10 Jews that gather together, even if they're not studying Torah. I can imagine all the more so. But even if they're not, the power of the entity of that holiness of 10 that creates a new entity, not it's a sum total of 10 people, but it's much greater than that sum total that makes them capable of having the Shekhinah, the divine presence, the infinite light of God to dwell. Now, again, it's not integrated, it's encompassing them, but that's very powerful. An angel above cannot withstand that. It's amazing.
So when it says they're nullified, what does that mean?
What does it mean that they're nullified? It means our power is greater than that. I mean, what it means in a practical, down to earth sense, again, as I just said, that the notion of people in the world is I have my lucky angel, my angel's taking care of me. Sar Machol, I have the angel Machol, Michael on the right side. He's always getting kindness from him. There's a truth to that. Absolute truth to it. Why? It's because an angel, a malach in Hebrew, means a messenger of God. This is a messenger of God. But guess what? We're greater messengers of God. So when 10 of us get together, right, what that creates, even when we are not fulfilling the message, right? We're just getting together. I mean, not doing it. If you're doing something bad, then forget about it, obviously. But not even if you're studying Torah, you're getting together and, discussing, plans for the holidays, whatever. That's still very powerful. That's how powerful the congregation of Israel is. That the angel that's a messenger of God is completely nullified by the power of that grouping. That's the idea. Which therefore means that when we come together for a minyan, or we come together to learn Torah, right, and we have the multitude of the people, how powerful that is. That's the idea over here.
Talks about by grace we can receive the light.
Mm-hmm.
Kindness, O God, is yours, for you render to every man according to his work.
Right. So you'll get it, but that doesn't mean you're experiencing it because it's an infinite light that is beyond us. It's encompassing us, right? And the righteous are capable of receiving the reward in the world to come. They'll get it. They get a glimpse of it now, but we will all have that. Any questions? What is the difference between a meaning of 10 men davening versus 10 women davening together? So, I mean, there's practical differences of what men and women fulfill in that. But when 10 women come together, so it's likewise has that power, right? Also has that power. It's 10 souls. But yeah, we're talking about the power of the grouping. We're not talking about the function so much of what they do, right? Because we just finished saying that if it was 10 people that came together and it was not even to study Torah or to fulfill a specific mitzvah, but just the gathering itself, the Shekhinah rests upon them. So, what's the difference? No difference. There is no difference. Except for the function, but that's not the point over here of the function. The point is the awesomeness of the gathering. I hope that's today. I hope that's clear.
Sure. That was a slippery question.
No problem. No problem. Okay. Let's have some greetings for today. Chol Hamoed. June is from Australia with us. Joe in Washington State, Daphne in South Carolina, Liba and Lynn and Davida in New York, Daphne, South Carolina, yes. Eugenia is in Calgary, Carmen in Texas, Michael in Germany, Irma in St. Martin, John in North Carolina. Who else do we have here with us? Victoria in BC, British Columbia in Canada. All right. Tim is in Texas with us. Who else is joining us today? Yasmin is in. Oh, you have to remind me. Forget. Jenny Ellen, welcome. Is in, not certain. Will, welcome. Sylvia is with us. Robert in, remind me. We have Susan with us. Fernando. Kay. Shraga. Health coach. Lori in in South Carolina, right? Diane. Oh, Diane's back in Arizona. All right. Will's in Washington State. Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Rambam is coming up, folks. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you for Chabad Zich in Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share